this week's MotoGP and Moto2 power rankings from the DawgHouse here on ntnradio.com. Much like our Supercross rankings, again, this is a pool of people that we give rankings from each week and stuff to put our list together. A big collaborate. Not a big collaborate, but a decent-sized collaborate. This week was round 3 of the MotoGP season. They were in Argentina. A couple surprises in a surprise a little bit in MotoGP, but let's first talk a little bit about Moto2. Guys who got some votes but didn't quite make our list were Folger, Simeon, and Kallio. I think Kallio and Simeon have both been doing pretty decent. Folger got a few votes, still didn't make it.
I actually think Kallio has been having kind of a disappointing season so far.
Disappointing, but compared to the other guys, he's still, better than average.
But not anywhere near able to get up into our power ranking top 5.
Yeah, no,
I don't think so. Folger was kind of a one-hit wonder, right?
Yeah, that was kind of my opinion, but people are giving him a little more credit than he deserves. I think Morbidelli is starting to come on a little bit.
I think he is. I think he's one of the guys out there that people are looking at as
future.
And an up-and-comer. As the season goes on, he gets better and better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the champion from last year appears as the season goes on to get worse and worse.
He's not doing well at all.
Yeah, but he's still well, let's start. The 5 spot was Morbidelli. We just spoke a little bit about him. He seems to, he's had a pair of fifths. I'm sorry, fifths. Three fifths in a row.
And he's competed for a podium on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, and he has. There's a couple of them have been tight fits.
Yes.
So he ran in our number 5 spot. Our number 4 spot is actually still Esteve Rabat.
Yeah, which I do not understand at all.
I'm with you on
I don't
that.
get it. We're talking about a guy who finished 12th. He's not.
Yeah, I had him in 5th, but that's probably just mainly because of he should be doing better.
I had him in 9th. Okay, so that tells you anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure I had him.
Yeah, right.
I was like, is he still racing? So he rolled into our 4th spot. And our 3rd spot is Rins, who's moved up from Moto3.
Can we talk before we talk about Rins? I want to say one more thing about Rabat. My guess is if he has another performance in his next race, then I think probably we won't see him in the power rankings.
Yeah, I think he's about ready to drop out.
Right.
Then we go to Alex Rins. Alex Rins, the former Moto3 champion,
right?
Had a pretty bang up weekend. He's had a couple good weekends in a row now. Definitely got a lot of 2nd and 3rd place votes, 1 4th place vote, but he's definitely rising on the power ranking. He's up from where he was.
I'll tell you what, he's the one guy that he's the consistent points getter, right?
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
Both Zarco and Lowe's have had a race get away from him because of mechanical problems or a wreck. Rins is out there just
Consistence.
He's consistently scoring points,
and that's why I had him in number 2 on my list.
I think I tell you what, I think Rins. He's one of those guys where I expect him to get better all the time. I really do expect that from him.
Yeah, so he's definitely somebody who, right, I think by the end of the season he's going to be up there at the top. Sam Lowe's comes in our number 2 spot. He did have the stumble the first race. Mm-hmm. But other than that, he's pretty much been up there at the top. You know what I mean? He's
another. Picking between him and Lowe's is tough. Zarco and Lowe's is tough because they're pretty much on par with each other, I would say.
Yeah.
I really would say they're pretty much on par with each other.
Right now I pick the 3 guys I think that can win a race are Zarco, Rins, and Lowe's.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our top 3.
Yeah, and that is our top 3. Obviously, Zarco hits the 1st spot. He was unanimous. I think everybody thinks he's the man to beat right now.
At this moment in time, I would not be surprised to see that change. I could very easily see myself vote Lowe's the top guy if he wins the next race.
Yeah, I actually did our last power rankings vote, Rose.
Right, and I did too. I think in the last one.
I think I'm with you. If he wins the next race, I couldn't make that argument.
And I could see Lowe's and Zarco be switching the top spot in the power rankings the rest of the season.
And I could see myself voting for Rins in a number 1 spot if he rolls off.
If he wins a couple races, or even if he wins 1 race, he's already the points leader.
Yeah.
No, he's not anymore.
No, Zarco
that's right. He took over.
Points.
Zarco didn't get the extra points.
Right.
So I definitely think there's going to be some changes up in the Moto2 power rankings. Switching to the big boys, MotoGP. A guy who pulled onto the podium this week, got a couple votes, didn't quite make the final 5 cut, which is a little shocking to me. But we'll blame that a little bit on Europe. Cal Crutchlow came in. Cal Crutchlow, he would have been 6th if our power rankings went out there. Definitely doing better on the LCR.
Well, he tied with Lorenzo.
Yeah, but Lorenzo had a 4th place vote, not just all 5th. So that's their tiebreaker there.
Right.
So Lorenzo is our number 5
Olaf.
spot.
Damn you, Olaf.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You got to
Olaf
blame your
screwed it up.
If you went alphabetical, Crutchlow would have been.
Yeah, come on, Olaf.
Yeah,
Olaf, what do you have against Cal Crutchlow, really?
I know.
You screwed the man.
He did.
Over an Italian, no less.
I know. Who knew?
No, Spaniard.
So
a little better.
Lorenzo, who I think if he has another disappointing weekend, you're going to see he's another guy I think should drop off.
Right, I think so too.
Yeah, I didn't have him in my top 5.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
I'd already dropped him out.
Yeah, I did too. I'm done with him. I've parked him.
You were done with him last year.
Pretty much. Yeah, he quit.
Pretty much.
I was done with him after he quit.
I mean, to a point where you were even like Pedrosa better.
When he quit in the middle of a race, I was done with him.
I agree. Ian One is our number 4 spot, and pretty much everybody in the pool had him in the 4th spot across the line, except for Europe, because they just don't understand things. So, anyways, I'm just busting somebody's chops. He'll know who he is. Number 3 spot was Dovizioso, and I think the top 3 are kind of hard to separate. I would say the big fault that keeps Dovizioso in the 3rd spot is he ain't won. If he wins,
right? I agree.
If he wins, he's a legitimate contender for the 1 spot.
I absolutely agree with that 100%. I think that's you got to win it. You can't be the number 1 guy if you haven't got to win.
I struggle between him and Marquez for the number 2 position because even though he hasn't won, he has been more consistent than Marquez. He hasn't crashed out.
Well,
Marquez is at the beginning.
Marquez is having a mistake or bad choice written season.
Yeah, where Dovizioso has not. He's made the right choices.
Right,
he just
but that
hasn't won on a bike that we didn't think was going to be this good.
I could very easily see Marquez topping the power rankings if he comes back and has a really good performance in the next race.
No, he is. Yes, I'll agree with that.
Right.
But for this week's power rankings, I struggle between the 2.
Has got to win.
Yeah, Dovizioso,
in order to possibly challenge for that.
For me to give him a number 1 vote, he's got to win.
Well, as I said, I debated between 2nd and 3rd between those 2.
No, I get you.
Right. But let me ask you a question. Would you have a problem if it was between Dovizioso and Rossi? If Marquez was on top?
Yes, I would. I'd still be. No, I wouldn't because Rossi has won. He hasn't crashed. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, Marquez has won too, and you're having a problem between Dovizioso and Marquez.
Rossi,
yeah, because Marquez is wrecked. Marquez has had a bad start and screwed up some other things.
But he has won.
But he has won a race.
Right, but that's
Dovizioso's finished.
Hasn't won.
But he's finished on a podium every time.
Yeah, that's not a win.
I'm actually got to go with Warren because I actually did rank Dovizioso higher than Marquez.
You did. Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
But I struggled, but I ended up going with that win.
You were the only person that did.
Yeah, and I thought, hey, 3 seconds in 3 races got to get you something.
It's worth something.
It's worth
but it's not worth as much as a win, in my opinion.
In Phil's world, it's worth 2nd place, and that's where he put it.
Definitely worth 2nd place.
No, I'd say that was a guilt vote from Phil for Ducati. That's what it was.
That was me trying to make up for all the bad things I said about them in the last 5 years. Yeah. And then leading the power rankings is Valentino Rossi, who came out and showed the craftiness of a veteran or the smartness of somebody who's seen tires disappear.
Yeah, he was smart enough to know you don't. When the manufacturer of the tire says don't run this tire, you don't run this tire.
That's right. I mean, it doesn't get more obvious than
when
that.
The manufacturer makes a special tire just for this track.
You take it.
You take it.
Right. I mean,
especially when the tire that you're going to run is one that they know actually came apart in the prior year.
Rossi's also the points leader. And. It's a convincing over Dovizioso it's only a 6-point lead over Marquez. It's now 30. It's going to be a pretty tough season for Marquez, but like you said, to jump up in the power rankings,
but
another win.
But then again, it looks tough. But probably if there was anybody who you could see coming back from a deficit like that, it's a guy you know, because you know he's streaky. He could he could win the next 5 races in a row.
Right, he can win the next 8, and you'd
exactly.
be like, oh, if he wins the next 8 races, we all look like idiots for not having him.
The only person I'm surprised is that's not on the power ranking is Aoyama. he should get a special compensation program.
He's going to be in our bottom 5 rankings with Melandri Paz.
Yes, right.
And Nikki Hayden.
Right.
But that's how it goes. Thank you for listening for this week's Power Rankings and watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, share the video, follow us on Twitter, DawgHouse Radio.
And Facebook.
And Facebook, all that good stuff.
Facebook.com/motorcycle radio.
If you don't think our power rankings are legit, or you don't think that you agree with them,
let us know.
Let us know, and we'll tell you how wrong you are.
Right.